Melissa Kerner from friendyyourbody.com, the place to take charge of your health and transform your life. And today I'm going to show you how to make chocolate cream pie. Now, Christmas is around the corner, and it is a holiday tradition for us to have some sort of chocolate dessert with our Christmas dinner. So this year we're going to be making a chocolate cream pie. And we like to make our own desserts from scratch because the store-bought stuff, the stuff that comes out of the boxes and the cans, is loaded with harmful ingredients. So if you look at the ingredient labels, you'll see bleached flours and, corn flours, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup. You'll see things like soy flour or soy lecithin, vegetable oils or other hydrogenated oils. There's sugar, there's artificial flavors or natural flavors. You always want to be cautious when you see those umbrella terms because food processing companies can use those terms to represent a list of ingredients that don't have to be on the label. And then of course there's the stuff that is listed that you can't pronounce and figure out what the heck it is. So we want to avoid all those ingredients and that not so good stuff. So the best way to do that is to make your own pies from scratch. And this is a really simple pie. It doesn't take a lot of time to make, and most importantly, it tastes good and it's good for you. So here's what you're going to need. To make the pie crust, all you're going to need are some nuts. You could use cashews, you could use almonds, you could use pecans. I'm going to use walnuts because I like walnuts. You could use a mix of nuts, so 2 cups of nuts, raw nuts preferably. And then you're going to need a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And then you're going to need 2 tablespoons of raw honey. That's it to make your crust. And you're not going to be cooking it, by the way. This is a no-bake pie. For your filling, what you're going to need is 2 heaping tablespoons of cacao powder, which is basically just raw chocolate. It almost looks like cocoa, but there's no sweetener, there's no additives or anything. And again, it's raw, it hasn't been heated. You're going to use 1/3 to 1/2 of a cup of sweetener. I've got honey here. You could use maple syrup as well. I prefer honey. 1/8 of a teaspoon of sea salt. You're going to need 1/4 of a cup of arrowroot powder. Arrowroot powder is just used to make it nice and thick, so it's going to sort of turn it into like a nice creamy pudding type substance. And then you're going to need 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract for the filling as well. And then you're going to need 2 tablespoons of coconut oil. I love coconut oil. I use it in a lot of recipes. And then you're going to need 2/3 of a cup of raw cream or raw milk, or if you have issues tolerating dairy, you could also use coconut milk. And I've done that as well. That tastes really good. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with the crust. I'm going to take my Vitamix. You can use a food processor. If you don't have a Vitamix, by the way, I highly recommend them. I use it for a lot of different recipes. If you go to our store on friendyyourbody.com and you use our affiliate link, you can actually get free shipping and handling. So I encourage you to do that. So we're going to take the 2 cups of nuts, pour it in the Vitamix. I'm going to put my cover back on, and I'm going to just blend this on low, maybe 1 or 2, just until it's nice and crumbly. It's not like really refined like a flour. It's sort of like in between, a refined flour and just kind of crumbled nuts. So it should be nice and crumbly. And I don't like it to be really, really fine because I like to have some of the chunks of the nuts in my crust. So here we go. Good enough. Again, I don't want to blend it too much. And I'm just going to use this handy dandy device that the Vitamix comes with. I'm just going to press it down, mix it up a little bit. Now I'm going to put in my vanilla extract. And then I'm going to add my 2 tablespoons of raw honey. And the honey really is not only to add flavor, but it helps keep the mixture together. It holds the crust together nicely. Okay. So now I want to put this back on low. Give it a good mix. All right, now what we're going to do is we're correct mixture, and we're going to put it in a 9-inch pie plate. And now I've got my nut mixture in the pie plate, and now I'm just going to press it into a crust. Just flatten it out a little bit. And it doesn't have to be too pretty, it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it's at the bottom. Once you put your pie filling in there, you know, no one's going to see it. So I don't worry about it being too perfect. And of course, if you want a thinner crust, you could put it in a larger pie plate. And if you find that the nuts and the honey start to stick to your hands, you could actually just put a little bit of coconut oil on your hands, which is what I'm going to do just because it's starting to get a little sticky. Right, we're almost done here. Almost ready to make the chocolate filling. Okay, so now I'm done making the pie crust, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop it in the refrigerator while I'm making the filling. Okay, so now it's time to make the chocolate filling. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our sweetener and put it in a saucepan over medium heat. So again, I've decided to use honey. I've used maple syrup. That also tastes very, very yummy. And now I'm going to add my cacao, my 3 tablespoons of cacao. I'm going to add my 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, sea salt. When it comes to salt, I don't recommend using white table salt. I use sea salt, two very different substances. Sea salt is actually very good for you. And then we're going to use 1/4 of a cup of the arrowroot powder. Again, I'm just going to dump everything in here. Okay, and then I'm going to whisk the ingredients together. Make a mess on my stove. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just slowly start to add my raw cream. And I'm going to use, I'm right-handed, so I want to be able to whisk this slowly as I combine the ingredients. And you want to be careful as you're making this that you whisk the cream slowly and you don't have the heat up really, really high, because the recipe won't come out very well. You'll overcook the cream. Alright, so I've got my cream in there, and I'm going to keep whisking, again on medium heat, and I'm going to bring it to almost a slight boil, and I'm going to keep whisking it until the chocolate mixture gets thick. And when you put a spoon in there, it should actually coat the back of the spoon. So we'll just keep it on the stove, keep whisking until it gets thick. So as you can see, the substance is getting thicker, and I'm bringing it to a slight boil. And then I'm going to turn the heat off because it's getting a little bit thicker. It does take a few minutes. Just got to be patient. I'm going to take my whisker out. I don't know if that's the technical term. That's what I call it. And then I'm going to take my spoon. We're going to do a quick test. There we go. Now we know it's ready. Okay, so now the chocolate mixture is ready to come off the stove. It passed the test of coating the spoon. So now I'm going to remove it from the heat, and I'm going to add my vanilla extract. And I'm going to add my coconut oil. You could also use butter if you wanted, but I really like to use the coconut oil. Perfect. And now I'm just going to very gently mix everything in. Okay, so now after I've made sure that I've mixed the remaining ingredients in until everything's well blended, you'll find you really have to mix the coconut oil in. It takes a good minute or two to just really make sure that everything's blended. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pie crust out of the refrigerator and I'm going to pour the chocolate filling in. Alright, so I've got my pie crust, my filling, and we're just going to very gently pour it in. Now you'll see it's still a little bit soupy. It's thicker than it was when it started, but it is still a little bit soupy. So when you put it in the fridge for a couple of hours, it will solidify into a nice pudding mixture. Alright. Now this recipe makes just a little bit more that I want to put in my pie filling, so I'm going to save the rest and have it sort of as a little side dessert for myself. And that's it. So now we've got homemade chocolate pie. Delicious. So now I want to hear from you. What are some healthy sweet treats that you like to make to celebrate the holidays? I'd love to hear your comments by heading over to our blog at friendyourbody.com. And of course, if you liked this recipe, please share it with your friends and family so that they can benefit from it too. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you are looking for more resources on how to take charge of your health and transform your life, and get some personal insights from me that I only share through email, make sure that you head over to friendyourbody.com and sign up for our free weekly health, fitness, and nutrition tips and recipes. And as always, I encourage you to stay focused on your health and continue to move forward by making small and simple healthy lifestyle changes so that you can look and feel your absolute best. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Have a great day.